Good morning, class. Today we will discuss about the toast. So basically, we can use toast to display some information as a pop-up. It will provide message as a pop-up, and after a certain seconds, or you can say few seconds, like 2 or 3 seconds, it will disappear. That is why we can say toast can be used to display information for the short period of time. And a toast contains messages to be displayed quickly and disappears after sometimes like 2 or 3 seconds. This Android.widget.toast class is the subclass of our java.lang.object class. Here object basically is the class, like toast is the class, and java.lang it is a package. And if you want to create your own toast, then you can also create your own toast. There are certain features of using this toast, like message will appear for a specific time, then it will disappear. And whenever this toast will appear, it never block the activity. This toast basically is an Android widget which is used to show a message for a specific time. And then it can be used to give feedback to the user regarding any operation you want to perform. Like suppose if you want to log in, then it will display the login successful or login failed. If you want to save some data, then it will display data information saved successfully. If you want to create a toast, then it can be created using this toast class, which will inherit the java.lang.object class. Constant of toast class. So basically there are two major constants, length long and length short. These constant will use to display a message for a specific time. If you want to use length underscore short, it will display a message for 2 seconds. And if you want to display a message with the help of length underscore long, then it will display a message for 3.5 seconds. There are some methods in toast class. The first method is make text method. In this method, we will pass three arguments. First one is context. I will explain it ki what is context. Then char sequence text. Here you will pass your custom message, whatever the message you want to display. Int duration. Here you will pass the duration, how for a specific time you want to display a message. Void show method. So basically it will show the toast. Here in the make text, you are creating toast. But if you want to display toast, then you need to call this show method. Public void set margin. So basically this method can be used to set horizontal and vertical margins. So basically if you want to set the margin horizontally, then you will pass the value of horizontal, and for vertical you will pass the value for vertical. So you can say that by using set margin method, you can set the horizontal and vertical margin. This is the example of toast. Toast example 1. Here I am just calling a make text method with the help of toast class. And here we are passing three arguments. First one is get application context, then hello, and then toast dot length short. And we are calling it by using show method so that toast can be displayed. Get application context basically is the method of context class. It is representing the context class. Hello is the custom message which we want to display. And length short basically used because we want to display this hello message for a 2 second. Similarly, here you can use this toast like this also. Here we are defining the margin 50, 50, 50 for horizontal, 50 for vertical. Then we are calling this show method with the help of toast object. Get application context, I already told you, it is basically it is the method of context class. That means it will return the object of context class. Now the question is, what is context class? So basically context is the current state of application, or you can say the current state of object. Context can be used to get the information about the activity and application. You can fetch the information about, if you want to fetch information about activity or application, then you can use this context class. You can also access the shared preferences, databases, and other resources by using this context class. So basically, there are two kinds of context which are available in Android: application context and activity context. So if we are talking about the application context, so basically this context is tied to the life cycle of application. And mainly it is the instance that is a singleton and can be accessed via get application method, which we are using here, this get application context. So if we are talking about this application context, that means it will depend on the life cycle of application, not with the life cycle of activity. And the second one, sorry, the get application, first I will explain about the get application context, then I will explain activity context. So basically get application context, I already told you, it will return the context instance of context which is linked to the application, not activity. Okay, remember, it is associated with application which holds all the activities running inside it. It might be a one activity, two, three, it can be a multiple. Okay. When we call a method or constructor, we basically have to pass a context. And we can also use this keyword to pass the basically activity context. Okay. Or you can say the get application context. And it is passed to the application context, not activity context. Okay. Remember this thing always. If we are talking about get application context, that means we are talking about the application, not we are talking about activity. And this method basically generally used for the application level, and it can be used to refer all the activities, because in a particular application there can be a multiple activities, so it will refer to all the activities because it is for application purpose. Just take an example. If you want to access a variable throughout the Android app, then one has to use it via get application context method. What are the functionality of application context? If anyone asks this question, the answer is simple. It is used to load resource values. It is used to start a service. It is used to start, sorry, it is used to bind a service. You can send a broadcast. You can also register the broadcast receiver by using this application context. Now come to the second thing, that is activity context. What is activity context? So like as all we know that each and every screen got an activity. For example, main activity refers to the main activity only, and user activity refers to user activity only. What is the meaning is that if suppose we created a one activity, name of that activity is Haren Singh Negi. Okay, so that Haren Singh Negi basically refers to Haren Singh Negi only, not other one. Okay. So this method of invoking the activity context is get context. So with the help of get context method, you can invoke this thing. Now, areas where activity can be used. So areas are the first area where activity context can be used is the user basically is suppose creating an object and whose life cycle is attached to an activity. So here you can use. Again, I am repeating, the user basically is creating an object and whose life cycle is attached to an activity. Here you can use this activity context. And whenever inside an activity for user interface related kind of operations like toast, any dialog boxes, you can also use this activity context here. Now, here in this activity context, we have a method that is get context method. So this get context method basically returns the context which is linked to the activity from which it is called. And this is useful when we want to call the context from only the current running activity. Remember, the current running activity. I'm again repeating this thing. Remember this point. This is very important. This is useful when we want to call the context. And who is useful? This get context is useful when we want to call the context from only the current running activity. Okay, and there are certain functionality of this activity context and the functionalities are load resource values, layout inflation, you can start an activity, you can show a dialog, start service, bind service, you can send a broadcast, you can also register the broadcast. So basically these are the points of context class. And remember this thing from the functionality of both like application and context because there are two types. First one is application context and the second one is activity context. So there is a difference that application context is not related to UI part, user interface part. That means activity context is related to this UI part. Okay. So if you like this video, then please subscribe my channel and also like, comment and share. Thank you so much.